Alright, guys, so next week will mark the end of the One Bad Day one-shots. As you guys know, I've been reviewing and loving a majority of the Batman One Bad Day books, as has my girlfriend. So the two of us have been really loving them, and it's really sad to see it go with Ra's al Ghul being the final one. Hopefully Tom Taylor and Ivan Reyes can give us a good closer, as much as Tom King gave us a great opener. So we actually came up with the idea of what if they did 8 new one-shots, 8 more bad days for 8 other villains. So we kind of brainstormed it, and I took it one step further of picking the writers I'd love to see on these. Now, nothing's official. We don't know if we're going to get One Bad Day 2 or another volume of this, but I thought it'd be just kind of fun. I did have it written down here. And I have 8 other Batman villains, but here's the catch. Neither Joker nor Harley Quinn are a part of this. We kicked the clowns out of this one. So, yeah. And, yeah, you guys tell me in the comments below, what villains would you like to see and what creative teams? I didn't put artist because there's too many artists to really pick from that I'd really like to see, so I just went with writer. But, yeah, I'd love to see what you guys would have in the comments. So, let's get started with these 8 villains. Starting off with Mad Hatter. And the writer I would pick for this, Grant freaking Morrison. Just pause on that real quick, and stew in that. The idea of the Mad Hatter, a Mad Hatter one-shot written by Grant fucking Morrison. Could you just imagine the insanity? I'm surprised he hasn't... Actually, you know what's funny? I don't think... The only time I've ever seen him write the Mad Hatter was in the Arkham Asylum book. The Arkham Asylum Serious House on a Serious Earth. I think that's the only time he's ever written. He may have done it during his Batman and Robin run, but I don't think he's ever fully written the character in his own story. He may have been a supporting character, but he's never had his own story, which is crazy because could you just imagine a Morrison written story of the Mad Hatter and how thoroughly fucking insane you need to be to read that? God, that'd just be crazy. So the moment I thought of a Mad Hatter one-shot, Grant Morrison, I was like, yeah, it would have to be Grant Morrison as the writer. There's no other one. Maybe a few other people, but it would be top of the list. If you want to have this new opener, like how Tom King was the opening act with Riddler, then you need Grant to get people in seats. Get Grant Morrison to write a Mad Hatter one-shot, and people will come running to read it. I shit you not. Anyway, so next up we have Poison Ivy. A Poison Ivy One Bad Day would be a lot of fun. I'm surprised she wasn't in the running, but it was really cool to see these other villains get the spotlight. Poison Ivy would be a lot of fun. I think you need an artist that's very vibrant and very colorful. For the writer I would pick for this, it would be Kelly Sue DeConnick. Now, I do have another female writer, who most of you guys would probably guess by now, but I'm not having female... the only reason I picked Kelly Sue, and I know it's oh, you're only having a female writer write a female character, which is, the only reason I picked... I didn't want to use Kelly Sue, and I love Kelly Sue DeConnick as a writer. I think she had a really cool Aquaman run before Death Metal happened. I think she had a really cool Aquaman run, but the reason I picked her for Poison Ivy is because I would really love to see her bring that level of girl boss energy that she brought to Carol, and basically let's be real, the only Kelly Sue was really the character when Carol Danvers became Captain Marvel, went from Miss Marvel to Captain Marvel. Kelly Sue really took that girl boss writing style and brought it and made that character her own. So I would really love to see her take that kind of power and bring that to Poison Ivy. I think she would be really cool at doing I was really racking my brain. I was like, yeah, Kelly Sue. Yeah, Kelly Sue DeConnick is a... she'd be great at a Poison Ivy book. I would love to see her write that. And also that dry humor she has, I think it would fit Ivy very well. Next up, we have Scarecrow. Another character I'm hoping if they do this again, Scarecrow's got to be here. So Scarecrow, as a writer, I had a few picks. I was thinking maybe Scott Snyder because, yeah, Scott Snyder's done a lot for the Batman books. Even though some of his work is pretty lacking, I feel like. Don't judge me, that's just my opinion. I will say, however, he is good at horror, and I don't think he never did anything with Scarecrow. He never did anything important with Scarecrow, as far as I've seen, or somewhat far as I've written. I know he had Scarecrow a few places, but he never had like a seminal Scarecrow story. So Snyder would have been my pick, but then I thought of someone else, and that was Philip Kennedy Johnson. Philip Kennedy Johnson is slowly becoming one of my favorite writers at Marvel and DC. I'm really excited to see this kind of horror route he's going to go with Hulk. But the other thing that sold me is that he's really good at both balancing superhero stuff and horror stuff. And Kennedy Johnson also has been writing the Alien at Marvel, the Alien books at Marvel, and he wrote the Warworld saga over at on the Superman books. So he doesn't have I don't think he has a official like exclusive contract yet, but I'd love to see Kennedy Johnson do a Scarecrow book because he is actually really good at horror. So I would love to see how he would make a Scarecrow book, scary, because that's his whole thing is fear. So I would love a straight up horror book, Kennedy Johnson doing a full on horror book with Scarecrow. Anyway, so now moving on to the halfway point with Killer Croc, and we're going to have a Batman veteran writer take this one on, and that is James Tynion. James Tynion has done a lot of Batman books, but again, Killer Croc was never a character he really played with a lot. Oh sure, he had him in a few things and had him in a few scenes, but he never did a full-on story with Croc. And that's always been kind of a running thing, is that Croc has always been lately a supporting character and hasn't really had a story to himself. I think the last time he had a story to himself was a story in Forever Evil, and that was really it. So I'd love to see like a full-on comic with him, and Tynion is really good. It can be really good most of the time, and I think it would be really fun because again, it's a character. He's really good at He's really shown that he can be a great writer on Batman books. But I would love to see his take on Killer Croc. And I think it would be more of a draw if you had like another Batman veteran here, just like Grant Morrison and a few other people I got on here to tackle that. So that would be cool. Moving on to the ventriloquist and Mr. Scarface. My pick for the writer would be Gail Simone. Gail Simone is really good at dark comedy. She was good at it in Secret Six. She's good at it in Deadpool. She did Deadpool. Yeah, a lot of people forget she wrote Deadpool for Marvel for a hot minute. But she's really good at dark comedy, and the ventriloquist and Mr. Scarface are really good at this kind of dark comedy storytelling if you do it right. So I think it would be a lot of fun to really play with that. I think you can really play with that. Also, it'd be a lot of fun to bring, like, I think Gail Simone, if you brought her onto this project, it'd be kind of cool if she brought on her. Remember, Simone made her own ventriloquist as well, who had Mr. Scarface for a hot second. So it'd be kind of cool in this one shot to bring her back and have Wesker and the other character fight over, like, two lovers trying to fight over the doll. It'd be a lot of fun. So yeah, there you go. Moving on to Man-Bat. Man-Bat would be a lot of fun, and my pick for a writer would be Tim Seeley. Tim Seeley can be really hit and miss, but I think if you give him this project and make it like a balls-to-the-wall, like, horror action story, I think it can really work. I think it would be a lot of fun to see that, and again, everyone has, like, Man-Bat as an anti-hero, which is fine, but I would love to see, like, this is supposed to be a one bad day for the villains, so have it that, like, the Man-Bat persona just takes over and just does not let go, just takes over the driver's seat and just does not let Langstrom take back control or something of that nature. So that would be a lot of fun with Man-Bat. Next up, we have Black Mask. Black Mask would be a lot of fun, and I think the writer for him, this writer would be perfect for him, but I know some people are going to go, ooh, and that is Brian Michael Bendis. I already know some anuses just clenched hearing that. Bendis, his Superman run is garbage. I'm not going to defend that, but I will say I loved his Batman universe, and Bendis absolutely thrives on... Bendis absolutely thrives on ground level characters and mob stories. I was thinking Ed Brubaker, Ed Brubaker would be my second choice because he's also really good at this, and I would love to see his take on Black Mask. But I would love to see Bendis doing like a dark crime, like Scarface story, with a Scarface-esque or Godfather type story with Black Mask. I think that would be a lot of fun. So that's my pick for yeah. So I still think Bendis still has some gas in the tank. And finally is a character I bet you were not expecting, and that is Baby Doll. Yeah, Baby Doll hasn't really shown up outside in main continuity outside of the White Knight books. I think she has, maybe she has, they forgot about her, I don't know. But I think this would be a great, like, to use a One Bad Day one-shot to bring in Baby Doll into the main continuity, or have just a book of her. That'd be really cool. Baby Doll is probably one of the best episodes of Batman the Animated Series, and I can think of no one better if you were to bring Baby Doll into the comics and have a One Bad Day one-shot with her. It's Paul Dini. Yeah. Another guy who is a Batman veteran and a dude that would literally get asses to buy this book. Paul Dini writing a character that I know Baby Doll's continuity is a little like, is she a character already established in DC, or is she already made? A lot of people have debated that because there was a Baby Doll in the Superman books for a hot minute. So there's that, but I honestly think that it would be really cool to use that and have it as a One Bad Day book and have by Paul Dini. Like I said, a lot of these writers, Gail Simone, Tim Seeley, Tiny and Morrison, Dini, all of these guys are veteran Batman writers. And yeah, and it's characters they're not really familiar with, so I think it would be a lot of fun. But again, Dini is familiar with this character, so I think so that was the one I was kind of bending the rules on. So I was like, yeah, if you're gonna do a Baby Doll story, might as well have the guy who helped create her. Maybe have Alan Burnett as well. Maybe have Alan Burnett also co-write as well, or Bruce Timm. Although he might be busy with Kate Crusader, who knows. But anyway, you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this list of characters, and what 8 Batman villains would you like to have in a new... I'm not saying there is going to be another One Bad Day series, but if there was, what 8 Batman villains would you like to see get one-shots, as well as who would you want to see writing those comics? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in Multiverse.